We've had this Nissan Qashqai for 3 years, and we had it new, and it's I thought about time that I gave a little report on what I like about the car and what I don't like about the car. So this is a 2013 model, and it's a 1.5 DCI diesel, and it's in 360 trim, which is essentially the what was the NTEC Plus trim. So I thought the easiest thing to do was start out with a list of likes and then dislikes. So what do I like about the car? First thing is, I like the build quality. It's really nicely made. I like the engine. The engine is excellent. The Renault 1.5 DCI, it's turbo diesel, surprisingly powerful for 1.5. On paper, 110 horsepower doesn't sound very much, but it has got an awful lot of torque once the turbo cuts in, and that really makes it feel like a much bigger engine. It feels around like a 2-litre engine, to be honest. It's got so much pull, and that means that on motorways, long motorway hills, you're not changing down at all in order to make them up, even when the car's fully loaded. What else do I like? I like the gearbox. Very typical Japanese precision 6-speed gearbox. Very easy to change. Just faultless, really. Nice short throw. The steering wheel. Now, you may call me a bit funny, but I'm really fussy about the steering wheels that I have in my cars. I don't like plastic coated steering wheels. I can't bear those add-on sort of plasticky leather things that people put on, and in order to try and create a bit of luxury. I don't like those. I like a nice leather steering wheel. This has got a lovely leather steering wheel. It's a nice fat steering wheel, but not too fat, not like a BMW. This is nice. It's a lovely size. It's nice and round. It's flat. It's a 3-spoke, which I like, and I also like the way the controls are laid out, the cruise and the volume and everything like that. It's really easy to find them, to manipulate them, with the horn in the centre. So the steering wheel, really good plus point for me. Excellent steering wheel. I like the clocks the way they're laid out. Really nice and clear. They glow a nice bluey white, the illumination. There's a centre display which has a trip computer on it, and a temperature gauge, that sort of thing. A bit disappointing there's no digital speedometer. I like that as an option if I can get it. What else do I like? I like the infotainment system. It's got built-in sat-nav, which works well enough. It's got a CD player, which I've never used. It's got full iPod compatibility, which I have used and use an awful lot. It's got a good radio, doesn't seem to go out of tune no matter where you drive in the country. Nice clear FM reception. I only ever really listen to Radio 4, so that's all I can really talk about. It works. The sound's okay. It's got 6 speakers, a couple of tweeters bouncing the sound off the dashboard at the front, as you might expect. I like the handling. Now, this is quite a long car because it's the Plus 2 version, so it's got 2 extra little kiddie seats in the back, which are completely useless in actual fact, but it does give you a bigger boot, which is nice, which I like. And so that's good, but it's quite a large car, quite a long car, and it does handle really well. I like the power steering. It's electronic, variable, nice and light when you're going slow, tightens up a bit, gets a bit more directional when you start to speed up a bit. I think it's got plenty of feel. The car, like all modern cars on modern tyres, this has got wide tyres, it's got 18-inch wheels, so it's got plenty of grip. The handling is actually quite nice as well. I always found it quite predictable. It grips and then gradually starts to let go with a bit of oversteer, and perfectly acceptable. It's not a car that you buy to have a lot of driving fun in it, I don't suppose. It's a family car, but I have pushed it through mid Wales on some of those beautiful roads, and I've had a really good time in it. It's pretty good. I like the headlights. Now that's something you don't normally get to test when you test drive a car, new or otherwise. And I've had some disappointments in the past where cars I've bought have had headlamps like somebody's burning a couple of candles behind an opaque window. They've been that bad. These are really nice and bright. They're not the Xenon types, but they do have some sort of lens arrangement, so they look a bit like Xenon ones from the front. And they're not LED ones, they are halogen ones, and they do cast a really good beam in the right place for the right amount of distance when you're driving along. What else do I like? I like the mirrors. The door mirrors are superb. They're enormous and you can see loads in them, which is what you want from a mirror. As always, you will end up having a spider living in them with a big web there when you come to the car in the morning. That's inevitable. The upholstery is nice. This has got the part leather. I like that. I like the little cloth with a hexagonal pattern. It's sporty. It's easy to maintain. The leather is worn quite well. I think that's very nice. The seats are good. They're quite firm along the sides here. Stop you rolling around, which I like. No complaints on a long journey. Adjustability is okay, as usual. The lumbar support adjusts so that you can get it exactly wrong. I don't know why they put them in, to be honest. I've never found one that worked. I like the fuel economy. I'm not the most light-footed of drivers. Never have been. I don't think I can really change that much. And around town, I get around 43 to the gallon. On a run, I've got anywhere. I have at one point where traffic was particularly slow but still flowing. I did get 60, and that's average to the gallon on a journey. Usually on a motorway journey, mixed with a bit of A road, over say the 150, 200 miles, I get 53 to 55 to the gallon, which I'm pleased with. I think that's pretty good. Getting on to things that I don't like, or maybe not don't like, but maybe not quite so impressed with. The huge glass sunroof. It just makes the car boiling hot in the summer, and it means it takes longer to warm up in the winter, and also I think it's responsible for the condensation problems that I've had in this car. You always get condensation in a car, especially when when you open the door and you get inside and you start breathing on a cold winter's day. You'll get condensation on the windows and the windscreen. Now, previous cars I've had have the aircon demist function, and you start the car up, the car warms up very quickly, it blasts the air onto the screen, air conditioned air, and the screen clears very, very quickly. Not so with this. The condensation it suffers is so great that I've actually had to carry a sponge in the car for the first time in 9 years in order to wipe away the condensation when it happens in the winter, because otherwise you would literally be sat in the car with the engine running, waiting for it to warm up for the next 20 to 30 minutes, and then it would gradually start to clear. It's really poor. And it's the thing that's probably annoyed me most about the whole car. It's a modern car with climate control, and it still can't demist itself. I think it's terrible. It's really, really, really poor. And I blame this glass sunroof. I don't particularly like it. If I have it open and the sun comes through it when you're driving, you can't see the sat-nav, you can't see the clocks. You close it and there's no point having it. I know passengers have said they like it when you're driving along at night and they can gaze up and see the stars, but I don't think that's a real reason to have it. Having talked about sat-nav and not being able to see it when the roof is open, the sat-nav screen is okay in size, I suppose. It's a 4-inch screen, but it's a little bit too low down for me. I have to keep moving my head down to see it, and it really should be up here, much higher, where those two air vents are. The air conditioning's okay. I like to have it on all year round. It maybe doesn't go quite as cold as some of the other cars we've had. It's okay. It's okay. It's not brilliant. It's a dual zone climate control thing. I fail to see the point in that. We've had that now on a couple of cars, and to be honest, the car's such a small environment that if somebody has it on warmer than you do, or vice versa, the car still heats up to sort of average temperature of the two, really, so nobody really wins. It's got electric windows, got electric mirrors, which is very nice. It's got a 12-volt outlet there, which would have been called a cigarette lighter, but isn't anymore, so they don't wire them with the same cable. So if you did put a cigarette lighter in there, it would blow the fuse. Interestingly, it's got a standard handbrake with a cable going onto the back brakes. I rather like electronic ones. The last 3 cars we've had have had electronic handbrakes, and I really got to like them. And I sort of wish this had the same. Glove box isn't chilled. Usually find that's the case with a lot of cars nowadays, and it's quite handy. The rear ventilation isn't particularly good. There's no sort of ducts out the back with taking the air through like there has been on a couple of the other cars I've had. So people in the back on a hot day tend to have to rely to you having these vents on the front here open and the air getting to the back of them, which is not ideal. In other cars they've had better air vents. We've had absolutely no reliability problems whatsoever. We've had it 3 years and not a single thing has ever gone wrong, made a funny sound, done something strange and then not done it ever again, leaving you slightly concerned that it might happen at an inconvenient moment. Nothing like that. It's been as reliable as Nissans are renowned for.